What's up, Chargers fans? Welcome to our second edition of an offensive line breakdown. And by that, I mean Steven sits here and tells me all about it while I scroll through. Steven, first of all, how are you? And second of all, what are your overall impressions of the line compared to the first few weeks of the season?
I'm doing good, man. It was a good day. I'm actually, Tyler was just talking with me, and I've been coaching the middle school football team where I work. So it's been a new adventure that way. So I'm doing good. I thought the offensive line, it wasn't perfect. Obviously, it's never going to be with this group, but it was much better than what we've seen in the past couple weeks. Granted, against a inferior opponent in the Jaguars, but hey, we'll take it. They only gave up 2 pressures. The one sack that they got on Justin Herbert was attributed to him. So, at the end of the day, we'll take that performance. There are obviously some things that they need to clean up, which, we'll talk about now. But overall, they definitely took a positive step forward this week, which is something that we really needed to see out of them without Bulaga and Trey Turner.
Absolutely. And hopefully we'll get those guys back. It sounds like Bulaga might come back this week. Turner, I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. So these plays here, I didn't just pick all positive. I didn't just pick all negative. They are plays that just look different formations, different looks.
Right.
Unfortunately, it starts kind of negative, but later on, we do get some of that great Herbert magic, some positive plays. So let's get to it. This first one, 1st and 10 from the Jacksonville 44, incomplete pass to Johnson. Here we go. So we'll run it through.
Yeah, so this one, it's going to be a 6-man rush against a 6-man block. Hunter Henry staying in to block in this situation. They execute it well enough. Obviously Herbert has a pretty clean pocket here. And, with Hunter Henry staying in, I think Virgil Green, no, it looks like max protect. I'm sorry about that. Hunter Henry and Virgil Green come in. So it's pretty much double teams across the board. And Troy Maine Pope gets a nice block on the edge right there. I think Pope is someone that we could see an increased role coming up, and I thought that he did a fantastic job right there.
That is a great rep. And I mean, Anthony Lynn said today that he wants the hot hand or someone to step up in this backfield.
Right.
And you can, wow, that's a great block. Good call.
And I think with Troy Maine Pope, you can get a little more versatility in terms of a receiver. So that's something we'll have to see. But pretty much the only one left on an island here is Ryan Groy. Dan Feeney kind of at the end, but it looks like Lamp and Tevye are kind of on a double team. Pipkins and Virgil Green are on a double team, which, by the way, the Chargers are going to miss Virgil Green a lot. He's been a fantastic blocker this season. And, in situations like this, it's just such a big advantage to be able to have a tight end who can block this well. Man, this was a special throw from Herbert, man. Oh, wait, this was the incomplete pass. I'm sorry.
Almost special.
Almost special.
Like, that's still pretty good.
So
like,
close.
Where's he throwing him? 40? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We'll get to the special throws.
Yeah, just got to release it a little bit quicker on that one.
Okay. 2nd and 10 from the 44. This is the next play. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is another 6-man rush. This one is the 6-man protection. So I had this one flipped. So if you go all the way back to the start, you'll see Dan Feeney kind of use his left hand to point at number 56, I believe. Maybe we don't see it, but from what I understood from what Dan Feeney is telling me, the protection call was to everybody slide left. And you can kind of see at the start, Trey Pipkins looks at Ryan Groy, and it doesn't look like he fully understands that.
Wow.
So you see, Sam Tevye goes over to 47, Forrest Lamp goes over to the next guy, and then Dan Feeney is supposed to be responsible for 52, Ryan Groy for 56, and so on, right? But Trey Pipkins doesn't get that call, and neither does Ryan Groy. And so Dan Feeney is left on an island in a terrible matchup with Damon Hamilton from Ohio State, which, he played fantastic the other day, and the linebacker. So, I don't know what people want Dan Feeney to do in this kind of situation,
right.
But being on an island blocking a defensive tackle and a linebacker is definitely not ideal, because you can see Trey Pipkins is expecting to go out to Josh Allen with the way that he's blocking, but Hunter Henry is doing an okay job there. Ryan Groy is doing a fine job on number 90, and then everybody else is kind of blocking to the left, but just a miscommunication between Feeney, Groy, and Pipkins at the end of the day on this one.
Yeah, that's tough.
Good throwaway by Herbert, and I believe this one
Defensive holding.
was defensive holding. So not a terrible result at the end of the day.
Yeah. Okay, this one, I was shocked when I couldn't watch the game, but I was shocked when I saw this on the ESPN, app or whatever. Joshua Kelly in the Wildcat. They threw a lot of a lot of plays. I almost put the Easton stick play in, but I think everyone would have downvoted the video. So
oh man, I'm not a fan of taking the ball out of the hands of your quarterback, but doing this every once in a while is fine. Like I said on Twitter today, but so I believe the penalty happened on Joe Reed, but really they were saying on the broadcast it was Justin Herbert's fault. Because when Joe Reed comes across like that, I guess Herbert is supposed to kind of step back. I don't know if anyone's an official, but if they can clarify that. But I thought this play was actually blocked pretty well. I think Kelly, if there wasn't a penalty, had a really nice lane out to the right. And so you see if he decides to cut in, if he had decided to cut out, Virgil Green has a really nice seal here. And I mean, the play didn't count anyway, but if he decides to cut out, he's got a really nice lane right there. And instead he cuts in and gives the linebackers a nice play on the ball. But not great push at the point of attack by it looks like is that Forrest Lamp? Or is that Feeney? Oh, okay. So it looks like Forrest Lamp pulls over. And Trey Pipkins, he lets someone come in front of his face, which on a play like this, he's supposed to wash him down. And worst case scenario as a tackle is take him directly down the line of scrimmage. But since he got beat across his face, Forrest Lamp isn't able to do his job. But still, I mean, you look at the edge with Virgil and Groy and then Keenan Allen. Obviously, that's a fine block up there. At the end of the day, the play didn't count, but Trey Pipkins, man, we've seen a lot of everything out of him, and it's just been unfortunate the lack of a development out of him. But this kind of play cannot happen. You can't let someone cut across your face on a play like this.
This one is a 1st and 15 from the Jacksonville 33, incomplete pass to Virgil Green. So what are we looking at here?
So there's Hunter Henry and Virgil Green are in. I want to say Hunter Henry stays in the block on this one. Yep. That's a great effort by Justin Jackson right there on the blitz pickup. Does just enough to make that tough on number 40. So Trey Pipkins and Hunter Henry will have a double team. Looks like Feeney and what is Ryan Groy doing? Okay.
Every play.
So it looks like this is designed to be a kind of a stunt from the defensive tackles. So that's something we talked about in the last episode, is that there needs to be that communication between Groy, Feeney, and Lamp. Whenever there's someone that comes across your face, there needs to be that switch call. And then this number, I think this is Davon Hamilton again, number 52, ends up looping around and has a free shot, and Groy has to chase him, which is just not what you want to see. You don't want an offensive tackle looping in behind. That's just never something you want to see. Sam Tevi, he gets beat in front of his face, but he does a nice job recovering. So I guess that's a good thing. But in this kind of play, when it's designed to be, a deep pass, this is kind of a slow developing play. You would like Sam Tevi to not get beat on the inside, but I think this is an okay job. They did a lot of max protecting, and they have continued to do that ever since the Tampa Bay game. And, Hunter Henry and Virgil Green and those guys, they've done a good job executing for them and being able to help out and provide that extra support to give double teams. But, that's okay. I mean, really, it just comes down to that communication on the interior three. If Ryan Groy and the other two kind of pass that off, then Herbert is able to step up in the pocket rather than, take a hit by Davon Hamilton.
Not a bad catch by Green. I mean, it doesn't count, but
it was a great effort. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the injury, man. It just sucks because this was the first time in a long time that we've seen him overly involved in the passing game as a receiver.
Right.
He scored a touchdown and then breaks his ankle pretty much. Sucks.
Sounds like Sean Culkin almost.
Oh, yeah.
Same kind of luck. I caught a pass, blew up my Achilles.
Oh gosh.
All right, another negative one. We're getting the positives, but this is Justin Jackson for -3 yards. So hang in there.
It's been happening a lot recently.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so go back on this one. This play design is really interesting because you'll see, I want to say that's Donald Parham comes across to the left, but and then all the linemen are reaching to the right. And then Tyron Johnson fakes, kind of the end around. So to me, this looks like this is supposed to be a counter going left, with Donald Parham kind of leaking up in there. I mean, is that Dan Feeney getting beat? I think it is.
Yeah.
Dan Feeney had a rough day, man. So again, when you're reaching like this, the worst case scenario that you're supposed to do as an offensive lineman is wash him down the line of scrimmage. But because, it is a far block, it's not an easy block, but because he lets the guy come across his face, this play, that one block, that one, point of attack area is not, tight. It's not executed properly. And so that makes Justin Jackson kind of, have pressure and not be able to, fully execute his part. I will say they have always set up other options off of these runs.
Mm-hmm.
If they give this ball to Tyron Johnson, man, I think that's a good alleyway for him. But Trey Pipkins does fine here. Groy does fine. Forrest Lamp and Sam Tevy do an okay job getting across on their blocks. Keenan Allen does a fantastic job blocking as well. It's just that one Dan Feeney block that needs to be executed. And because it wasn't, that guy makes the tackle. Mm-hmm. But if Dan Feeney does his job, look at that lane that he has up there. Trey Pipkins does a nice job. Justin Jackson has a nice alleyway there to get up and get positive yardage. And instead, what'd you say it was in -3?
-3, yep.
So, again, the cohesion of the offensive line has to be on point. It has to be all five, or in this case, the tight end and Keenan Allen has to be all 7 guys blocking and all doing their assignments. But because one person didn't do his job, it's a -3 loss.
Wow. I believe, because I do have the play to Johnson in a little bit. I didn't really pay attention, but I think it is very similar. So we'll check it out in a couple plays. But I believe they do go back to this play a little bit later. All right, something positive.
Here we go.
I think we all recognize this one because how many tight ends are on the field.
Yeah, that's going to be something that's going to be really interesting to watch because they haven't really given Steven Anderson many reps. It's been all Virgil, Hunter Henry, and then Donald Parham. So that's going to be super interesting to see who kind of takes on that role. Do they spread things out a little bit more? Definitely something to watch going forward. Is this the 4 verts touchdown? Oh man, this is beautiful. I love this play so much. See, this is what I'm talking about with Trey Pipkins, man. Like we've seen so much inconsistent play, but when he's on, he's really good. Mm-hmm. And I want to say this is Jawan Smoot, I think is his name. He was their leading pressure. Yeah, I don't know if that's right or not, but
just make it up. I don't care.
He's been their best pass rusher to this point, even better than Josh Allen. And so this is a really good rep by him. It looks basically like everybody else kind of washes down. They only rush 4. Good job setting the pocket by Dan Feeney, Forrest Lamp, and Ryan Groy. This is a very well executed play on all parts. And, I talked about this play a little bit on my Justin Herbert breakdown, but the way that he holds the safety with his eyes here. And, they were saying on The Athletic, I don't know if anyone else has read that piece yet, but this play was designed to go to Hunter Henry, apparently, according to this article I read on The Athletic. And Justin Herbert saw the double team and held the safety with his eyes to the left, and then came to Donald Parham to the right and just, dropped a dime. But, this was a great rep by the offensive line. It really was.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. Donald Parham. So does he only have 2 targets on the year as well as 2 catches?
I think 3 targets.
Right. I think he does.
I think he dropped 1, I want to say.
Oh. Well.
So.
No. Oh, fine. We'll take it.
2 of his 3 targets are touchdowns. So.
Well deserved.
In honor of National Tight Ends Day. I love it.
Yeah. Well, in honor of National Tight Ends Day, get rid of Neighbors.
Oh man.
As soon as I got the notification, incomplete pass to Neighbors, I'm thinking, please don't tell me he dropped it. Please
And
don't
he
tell me
did.
it was his fault. And then it's
And
like,
he did.
doink. Anyway, back to kind of positives. I believe it was Justin Jackson the last time we saw this play for the negative, for -3 yards. But here they
Yeah.
do go to Johnson. Doesn't get a whole lot, but they do go back to it.
Yeah, so good call. Same exact play, except Virgil Green in this instance. See, the way that Justin Jackson ran this play makes me think that the earlier one was in fact designed for him to run to the left.
Oh, good
Because
call.
it's the same exact action. All the offensive linemen are all doing the same thing. Virgil Green doing the exact same thing. Tyron Johnson, same thing. And then Justin Jackson runs up the alleyway to the left. So yeah, that's an interesting one. I would have to go back and look. This play, it kind of works out that they handed it off to him or handed it off to Tyron Johnson. And Johnson is fast, man. He really is. But
I
I
can't
thought
believe
this was
this only went
blocked
for 4.
I know. Well, he tripped a little bit. I don't know if something's going on with the turf, but I'm seeing a lot of players trip in the last couple home games. But I thought this was blocked really well. You see in this instance, Dan Feeney's not beat across his face. The whole thing works really well. It's just, I think Tyron Johnson tripped, and if he didn't, this probably gets 10, 15 yards. Really good action by Ryan Groy, Trey Pipkins, Sam Tevy. Hold on, let me look at Sam Tevy. Okay, he doesn't really do anything. This happens a little too much for my liking with Sam Tevy, where he's supposed to get up to the linebackers and then he sees 2 and he's like, I don't know what to do. So Sam Tevy, I think, yeah, that's definitely something that we need to, or he needs to improve upon. But this is a great block by Virgil Green too. Again, gonna miss him. But he does an excellent job on this play, being able to kind of set Johnson up nicely here. Yeah, see, if he doesn't trip, I think that goes for 10, 15 yards.
All right, let's watch someone break their ankle.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, this is Virgil Green's touchdown. Here we go.
Great throw, though.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like they're going to rush 6, which they do.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should probably pay attention to what I'm doing. This is worse than a broken ankle. This is 3rd and 1 for no gain.
So this is an RPO. I don't know if it's an RPO. This is a read option for Justin Herbert. So that means the end line defensive end is going to be the read guy. So Justin could have kept this if he wanted to, because the end crashes. But this is an okay job blocking. I would love to see Groy and Pipkins execute that double team a little bit more, because Groy ultimately is responsible for that linebacker that makes the tackle, which you see him kind of come off too late. But this is a fine job by Feeney, by Lamp, by Tevy, that they all do their jobs, in an okay manner.
Is that right? I mean, should Groy have done the double team at all? Because everyone's going one way and he's like, I'll go this way, but then the other guy's free.
Yeah. So, I mean, every unit calls this a different block, but this is a point of attack double team block. Really, it's more supposed to be a chip from Ryan Groy and a move immediately up to the linebacker.
Gotcha.
But really, that tackle is more important than the linebacker. So if Groy feels like, if he doesn't feel like Pipkins has it, then he has to stick on the tackle. So it is a tough decision. It's a tough thing to balance between, if you're that guard, between, trusting your guy to do it, or do I trust the running back to try and make somebody miss, which obviously doesn't happen here. So, I don't love this technique from Pipkins. He kind of leans into him with his shoulder right there. You see how he's kind of like leaned into him. That's not really something that you want to see. Pipkins kind of struggles in all aspects, really. But I don't know if I fault Ryan Groy here, because like I said, it's a tough decision to, do I leave the defensive tackle or do I leave the linebacker alone? Ultimately, this plays on Pipkins, I think. Okay. Good job by Hunter Henry sealing. Hunter Henry I think Hunter Henry had his best blocking game this week against the Jaguars, which is good. We talked several times heading into the season that we were wondering if maybe the knee injury last year kind of hindered his blocking ability, and it seems like he's getting into a rhythm, which has been really nice to see as a blocker. Yeah, this is a great job by him setting that edge. And they'll need him more than ever now without Virgil. So
because of this play.
This is the touchdown.
I
Very
think,
interesting
yeah.
concept because Virgil, he's right next to Pipkins on this play. Yep. I love this play concept, man. I love that.
No, I swear he lined up wide. I'm thinking of the wrong play, I guess.
So Virgil motioned out wide on Donald Parham's touchdown.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Yeah, so here he lines up right next to Pipkins. Looks like he's kind of washing down, and then he leaks out and kind of does like a wheel route.
Mm-hmm.
I think Keenan Allen stays into block on this play, if I'm not mistaken. Yep. Which I don't know how often I want that to happen, but oh man. But it worked out. I love this play design, and it's a great way to mix things up against the max protect look is having your first tight end closest to the line of scrimmage leak out. I love this play design. So it's going to be kind of a reach out double team from Tevy and Forrest Lamp just to make sure Dan Feeney does his job perfect. Trey Pipkins does a good job as well. And, obviously he has Hunter Henry there to help and same with Keenan Allen. So, these max protect looks are really, it's just advantageous for the offensive line because every single person has another lineman there to support him if they need it, or a tight end or a receiver in this case. So, really good job, executing. Every single person that's coming for the Jaguars is blocked. And like I mentioned, this play design is just fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, Keenan Allen didn't do a whole lot.
No, he didn't.
He pretended.
Yeah, he pretended, and I appreciate that effort. that little shove right there to make his presence at least known.
Yeah, it's on tape.
Yeah,
you got it on film. All right, last one, maybe the most impressive throw. I don't know. Each throw. Watching this game, every throw, the next, I was like, oh, that's my favorite throw of the game, and the next one would be my favorite throw.
Oh my gosh!
And my next one, it's like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. There are 10 throws in here that are amazing, but this one.
Is this the one to Guyton? Yeah, it is.
Mm-hmm.
So this one, in terms of the protection, I think this one is either on Dan Feeney. Well, from what I have, kind of read between the lines, Dan Feeney is making all the protection calls right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Jaguars bring in delayed bits off of the right side, and ultimately is the one who provides pressure on Justin Herbert. So, you have the two linemen and Donald Parham coming in on the left. Justin Jackson in that instance should be going to the right and doesn't. So maybe a little miscommunication there because you have Tevy and Lamp and Parham on the left, and then you have the other two on the right. So Justin Jackson should be going to the right as well. And he should be responsible for that linebacker. I want to say it's Schobert that comes on a delayed blitz.
Yeah, he's the white guy. So
yeah,
probably
that one I'm pretty sure about the last name, unless you pronounce it differently.
No, you're good.
But I talked about this one in my Justin Herbert breakdown. He's become so comfortable under pressure, and it's just amazing. And he didn't take a hit here. Luckily, Schobert kind of gave him a little professional benefit of the doubt, but he has Schobert right in his face, right, and he just uncorks a dime to Jalen Guyton. I want to say this traveled like 35 yards in the air, 40 yards in the air. So just so impressive from Justin Herbert. Go back one sec. Someone got bowled over.
That was Feeney.
Oh,
I can't tell if he ran over. I can't tell if he just kind of ran into Jackson and went like, oh God, I don't know. Because also he just like, oh.
Maybe kind of both. It kind of looks like Groy pushes his man into him as well. This is going to be an interesting thing, right? Because Dan Feeney, Forrest Lamp, Sam Tevy are all up for, either contract extensions or they're free agents, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know with 100% certainty that Dan Feeney deserves an extension.
I agree. Sadly,
like he started the season off so well.
Mm-hmm.
And Forrest Lamp, he's being picked on by PFF. I think Forrest Lamp has been the team's best lineman so far. Granted, Brian Bulaga would have that title if he had been healthy, but I think Forrest Lamp deserves to be back, and I think they'll bring Tevy back at least to be, a backup in case they do draft someone, which, I hope, I'm praying for, fingers crossed.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if Dan Feeney is going to be back. So that's definitely going to be something to, keep an eye on in the off season.
Do you think they go, well, let's talk about that then. So, okay, maybe Tevy comes back in some capacity. Lamp, if he's healthy, should come back.
Yeah.
But so Feeney, so Lamp would play guard, obviously, which means you need a center. Would
Right.
Quesson, well, okay. And you had to talk about this on Twitter already, but we all thought Quessenberry was the center. Obviously, he played center last year, but then he's a guard at the end of this game, I believe. So, I mean, do they just let Quessenberry go, like play, or what do you think they do here?
We have never really heard like positive reviews from the coaching staff about Quessenberry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have expressly stated several times that they believe in Dan Feeney.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a while, obviously, but we haven't heard that same kind of positive feedback from Scott Quessenberry. I thought personally he was their best lineman down the stretch last year, and I know several other people agree with that, but I think this team needs to draft at least one offensive lineman next year, in the early rounds, preferably. If that's a center, great. I think, with the way that James Campen runs his scheme, the center is really the center, and his mobility sets the tone for the rest of the other blocks. And so I think Dan Feeney has the mobility to do what Campen wants, but the problem over the last few weeks is it's his biggest weakness is his functional strength and his ability to anchor down against, bull rushes, which we see on this play. So that's just going to be something really interesting. I think Lamp is back for sure because I think he's been such a stable presence at left guard. Like I said, I think Tevy is back for sure. I don't think any of these guys will cost very much. So theoretically, they could bring back all three. I just think it would be best to maybe they bring back all three and draft one and just let the competition sort itself out. But I don't think if Feeney walks that Scott Quessenberry would automatically be the starter next year, because we've never heard like any kind of, center of the future talk like we have about Dan Feeney. Like they've all expressly stated that they want Dan Feeney to be this guy. That's why they haven't moved him around at all this year, because they want a full evaluation on him at center. Mm-hmm. And so Scott Quessenberry it seems like he's a backup.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, you really could go 2 of 3. I could see them. I mean, they'll definitely go 1.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just could totally see them paying Feeney just because he's there and they love him, and he's their longtime starter at 2 different spots, so.
And he's always been available, knock on wood, he's never been hurt.
Yeah.
So I think they would look at Feeney as more of the, if he plays well, granted, he has to bounce back. Mm-hmm. So if he does, I think if they have to choose between Lamp or Feeney, I think they would choose Feeney. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Feeney has to play better. And I think I'd be pretty surprised if Sam Tevy was not back on this team next year with the way that he's improved. I'm not saying that he's going to start next year, but with the way that he's improved, and they've all talked about how much they like Sam Tevy and his left tackle feet. So I'd be pretty surprised if Sam Tevy were not back next year.
I just think if they bring him back, I mean, at this point, if he plays the whole season, he's played right tackle, he's played left tackle the entire season. I mean, I just feel like they're going to start him if they keep him. I'd love for him to get beaten out, but I mean,
yeah. Oh, trust me, if I were running this team, I'm drafting a left tackle with my first round pick, and I'm probably drafting an interior offensive lineman with my second round pick, because as good as Justin Herbert has been under pressure, this kind of thing cannot continue. It's not sustainable. Eventually, down the road or maybe even next year, like the pressure gets to quarterbacks, which is something that we saw from Phillip Rivers, right? Like eventually the pressure just gets to you as a quarterback. So if I'm running the team, I'm drafting probably 3 linemen next year and 2 corners, which is a topic for another thing. But
oh boy,
I just think this team needs an injection of superior talent and youth in this group. I think Brian Balaga, he's a stately veteran presence. We'll see what happens with Trey Turner. But to me, I think you need at least 2 high-end draft picks to come in and at least compete with these guys and push them, hopefully, out of a job. That sounds so mean, but
no, I mean, I get it. That's the business.
Yeah, it is.
All right, Steven, thanks very much for joining me and
of course,
doing the whole thing yourself. I appreciate it, guys. If you learned anything, if you laughed, or if you don't want Sam Tippy back next year, go ahead, drop a comment, leave a like, feel free to subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Peace.